Yeah, hello. Nicholas Pizer, calling about the debit card you sent me. No, no, it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. It's actually the opposite. The debit card works too well. I was just wondering if there was a way you could, like, deny payment. You know what I mean? Like, allow me to not purchase certain things. Yeah. MAGICTHEGATHERING. Yeah, anything that comes through is that. It's hit a point you kind of have to just, like, not allow me to get it. Awesome. That's super cool. Awesome. Yeah, I will. I sure will. I'll take that survey. I'm not taking the fucking survey. 1. My camera's being super weird. It's only letting me record 10 minutes at a time, even though I have nothing but open space. So, if this beautiful mug's gone, I'll put something else up on the screen, but that's why. It'll be back. Also, green screen. Moved it around, new setup for it. I'm trying this layout for videos. While we're not talking about the deck, just throw something goofy on there. Yeah, that goofy little fuck. If you read the title, you already know what this is. Again, it's my addiction to making decks on Moxfield. I seriously can't stop doing it. And now that I know I can make my own packages that I can then just, like, add to decks through the add package feature. Oh man, if you guys would be interested in, like, a Moxfield rundown video on just, like, how to use Moxfield, I'd love to do that. Or if Moxfield's watching and you want to sponsor me, I'd love that as well. But yeah, I'm severely addicted to making decks. You know what? No, I'm not. It's my meditation. I'm addicted to meditating. Sure. I'm addicted to mental health. Sure. Yeah, I don't know. These videos do really well because you're all little freaks like me that just sit around making decks all day. So let's get a little freaky, dude. As always, all the deck links are in the description, and if I'm looking all over the place, it's because I'm looking at one of these screens in my room to re-jog this dog shit memory, so. Sorry, heard someone lurking outside my room. Had to sick security on him. Anyways, the commander of the first deck we're going to talk about is Saruman the White Hand. If you don't know what Saruman does, he's actually really solid. I've tried to build him a couple times. He hasn't really worked either of the times. This one, however, after playtesting on a Moxfield, as weird as it is, works great. Saruman is 1, a blue, a black, and a red. How big is this dude? I think the fact that I never know the creatures I talk about's power and toughness is a huge telltale sign of what kind of player I am. I just like the abilities. I don't want any of these numbers. He's a 2/5. He got a big butt. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, amass X, where X is that spell's mana value, and then goblins and orcs you control have ward 2. I was just about to say, let me know if this is too loud. You can't. You can't let me know. We play non-creature spells, we get to amass orcs equal to that spell's mana value. It's pretty good. And then our orcs get ward, so also good. If you want me to make a Moxfield video, I could make you a Moxfield video, and I'm sitting here using the text trying to remember what cards do instead of the visual options. I'm definitely the guy to show you. Oh, these battles are going to be a bitch to read. Just to sum up the deck before we get into this painstaking, neck-cracking reading session. Battles are a new card type that enter the battlefield. You pick an opponent that then defends that battle, and then you can attack that battle like you would a planeswalker or a player, and if you can get that battle's health down, whatever it enters with, to 0, it will flip back onto your side as whatever it is on the backside. They're cool. I like the idea of them. They didn't get utilized very much. No one builds around them that much. They're a little too difficult, if you're being honest. But this deck does it pretty well, honestly. So the idea is we're playing these battles that will give us high value, I think creatures most of the time, sometimes other permanents. The idea is you're playing these battles to get value, because battles will do pretty good stuff when they enter the battlefield, and then when you can manage to defeat them, they flip back onto your side as something that's most of the time pretty fucking good. We play a battle. A battle is a non-creature spell. That'll let us amass orcs with Saruman, and then we attack said battles with the orc. That's the too long didn't read of it all. If you want to actually get into the deck, we'll get more specific. Got to get my old man glasses and situated here. I forgot you can make it so your screen can't turn. I forgot my grandson told me you can make it so the green screen doesn't turn. That's fucking so useful. We have a total of 13 battles in here that are all super good. They definitely are doing the thing. So stage 1 of the deck, the battles. We're going to be trying to play these. We're going to be amassing orcs when we cast battles off Saruman, and then we're going to be swinging those orcs at the battles. So, just some of the battles. If you want to look at the full deck list, all the deck lists are going to be down in the description. For example, Invasion of Amonkhet. 1, a blue and a black for a battle, with 4 health. When it enters the battlefield, each player mills 3 cards, and each opponent discards a card, and you draw a card. Not bad. A 3-drop that makes everyone discard, you draw, everyone mills. Seriously not bad. We're going to run some recursion. It's a commander deck. We'll be able to get back some of the stuff we mill. And then when it flips, it comes into play as a copy of any creature in any graveyard except it's a 4/4. So you pop this battle at the right time, you could rip something super scary out of someone's grave, start getting a really powerful effect running on your board really early. Everyone just milled cards on the front side, so maybe you hit something that was big. I like this one a lot, actually. There's battles in the form of removal, like Invasion of Innistrad, 2 and 2 black for a battle with flash. When it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -13/-13 until end of turn. And then it flips into Deluge of the Dead, which is an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 2/2 black zombies, pay 2 and a black, exile a creature card from a graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie. That's a really good token engine. And then the front side of it's just a 4-drop removal piece? Sure, it seems actually genuinely pretty good, actually. Need a board wipe? Battles also have board wipes. Invasion of Fiora, 4 and 2 black for a battle. When it enters the battlefield, choose one, destroy all legendary creatures, or destroy all non-legendary creatures. Pretty decent board wipe too, honestly. Keep your Saruman board wipe. This one's extra cool because it flips into Marchesa. Marchesa Resolute Monarch is a 3/6 menace death touch. When it attacks, remove all counters from up to 1 target permanent. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you haven't been dealt damage since your last turn, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Solid creature to have on the board fairly early. Like, after a board wipe, dude, y'all have her in play after a board wipe. That seems pretty strong, actually. And then you just got, like, big powerhouse ones, like Invasion of Ravnica. 5 colorless for a battle. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls that's exactly 2 colors. You know how many 2-color commanders there are? 2-color cards that are just, like, awesome. I love 2-color cards. This is going to get rid of something good. It will. And then if you can flip this thing, which has 4 health, by the way, it becomes Guildpact Paragon, which is a 5/5. Whenever you cast a spell that's exactly 2 colors, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a card that's exactly 2 colors from among them, put it into your hand, and the rest in the bottom of your library. And the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Invasion of Segovia, 2 and a blue, 4 health. When it enters, you get 2 1/1s. And then if you can make it flip, your non-creature spells have Convoke. It's an enchantment. That's super strong to have in a battle deck. And it just kind of goes on like this. There's 13 really solid ones in here. If you want to look at all of them, check out the link. What's really cool is they retconned that a lot of things that say deal damage to any target can now target battles, which is really useful for us. So we have some ways to deal direct damage to battles. 2 of them actually being battles themselves, which is really cool. We've got Invasion of Ragatha and Invasion of Olgatha. One of them deals 4 damage to something, including a battle, or the other one deals 3 damage to anything and you gain 3 life. Both can deal damage to battles, which helps you chain flip like 2-3 battles a turn. Super strong stuff. Classic Lightning Bolt, 1 damage to deal 3 to a battle. A lot of the time is enough to flip it. Instant speed, that's like really, really good. That was the visual thing missing that I was talking about. My camera stopped. That's okay, though. We got it running again. Outside of rocks, card draw, removal, wipes, the last important part to note about this deck are the enders. All will be 1 whenever counters are put on something. We get to ping an opponent. With the amount of amassing we're going to be doing, that's a lot of 1/1 counters. That's a lot of pings. That'll definitely kill somebody. Warg Rider and Concierge of Umbar are both like cards that give really heavy orc evasion and then amass the orc to be bigger. That'll win a game. You just smack in face with a big orc. Or you're just flipping battles with a big orc, whichever. Sauron the Dark Lord, very, very good. It just amasses when our opponents play things. It's a giant threat. This thing just is so scary. With that, if you're interested in the full deck, go in the description as usual. We'll move on to the second one, though. Gotta go quicker. I gotta lose the glasses. I don't know how I forgot those glasses were solid red. I was like, why is this so difficult to read? Because no colors exist. Next, we've got Gen Arcanum Weaver, a black, a white, and a red. You can pay a black, a white, and a red, tap him, sacrifice an enchantment, bring back an enchantment. It's pretty good. A lot of people just go, hey, I'm going to run enchantments. Just all my favorite enchantments. If one dies, I get back another one. I'll run a lot of cheap, not useful enchantments that are okay, like protection, and then I'll use those to get back huge late game enchantments. Makes sense. I went with sagas because fun. Actually, token sagas. Let me correct myself. Token saga deck, which is very cool because a lot of the sagas make tokens. A lot of token interaction is enchantments. It kind of just worked with Gen, honestly. If you watch my last deck video, I made an Xavier deck based around sagas, which read really powerful and then playtested really powerful on Moxfield as well. So I was like, I like sagas. I like some of these new card types, some of these new ideas Magic's doing that I wasn't a huge fan of when they first happened. I kind of want to give them a second chance. So I made another saga deck, and I like it a lot again. And like I said, it's a token saga deck because sagas make a lot of tokens. Genesis of the Daleks. Yeah, just the first 3 chapters are going to go ahead and make you a 3/3 Dalek. for each counter it has on it. That's a lot of Daleks. And then the last chapter is going to deal a shit ton of damage to him. Love Song of Night and Day gives us a 1/1 bird with flying, which is cute. It also lets us draw cards, so it's 2 for 1 in us there. Oath of the Grey Host gives us 3 fairies at the end of it, which is really, really good, especially when we can just reuse it with Gen. 3 Blind Mice gives us a 1/1 mouse. It copies a token, and then it buffs our whole board. This might be one of the better ones. And just like the battles before them, they supply a lot of the card draw removal stipulations. There's a lot of them that just do that anyway. The Witch's Vanity destroys a creature that costs 2 or less. That can just be very useful in a situation. Hidetsugu consumes all, destroys everything that costs 1 or less, which is like, yeah. Elspeth Conquers Death, exiles something. Makes it so your opponents can't cast stuff unless they pay 2 more, and then buffs your creature. Fable the Mirror Breaker. Discard cards, draw cards, create 2/2s, create copies of stuff that's buffing our tokens. This is a very good one, actually. I thought this was going to be one of the weaker lists. It turned out to be one of the best. This one's genuinely nuts. Outside of that, we've just got classic token interaction. We've got a Johnny's Chosen. Whenever we play an enchantment, we get a token with all these sagas that are already making tokens. This almost feels like how this dude was meant to be made. Archon of Sun's Grace, same thing. Gives us a 2/2 whenever we play an enchantment. Yes. Feldar's Retreat, an enchantment that buffs our board or makes tokens. Sure. Sigil of the Empty Throne. All of our sagas become 4/4 angels as well. You see where I'm going. The deck's very, very good. We run plenty of recursion like Savine's Reclamation, Sun Titan, so we can get back a lot of these sagas. Maybe even let our commander go to the graveyard, get him back with one of those. This one's really strong. I would definitely go check this one out. In the same vein as the last 2, actually. I didn't realize how much I did this on this video. So the next one is actually a Boulder's Gate commander with a choose a background. Wasn't a big fan of these. Still not a huge fan. After building this deck, though, I'm like, all right. And this is a really cool one, too. I've yet to see this. We've got Levan, Cultist of Tiamat, which is 2 and a red for a 1/3. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, target creature you control gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is that spell's mana value. And then as the background, I have Shameless Charlatan, which is 1 and a blue for an enchantment. Commander creatures you control have 2 and a blue. This creature becomes a copy of another target creature. The idea here is we're playing spells, non-creature spells. Those spells are going to buff other creatures we control. Those creatures, a lot of the time, are going to have abilities or triggers or something that cares about their power that we can then double by making Levan a copy of that thing with charlatans, with Shameless Charlatan background. So let me explain. For example, Cephalid Constable is 1 and 2 blue for a 1/1. When it deals damage to an opponent, you can return X target permanents to that opponent's hand. Okay, now if we pair that with Levan, we can go ahead and play a non-creature spell, buff this guy up, and start bouncing a very powerful amount of permanents back to our opponent's hand, actually. Dream Pillager, when it smacks someone, you get to exile that many cards off the top equal to its power. You may play those until the end of your next turn. Yeah, if we can make this guy 6/6, 7/7, 8/8, 9/9 very easily, and then just pretty much draw that many cards, that's very good. Same thing with Felden. He's the exact same thing. We can just buff him up, smack face, exile a bunch, play those things. Olivia's Attendants give us blood tokens equal to the amount of damage she deals to an opponent, so if we can buff her up, she's already a 6/6. That's a ton of blood tokens, ton of card filtering. Really, really strong. So the idea is we're playing creatures like that care about their power. And then we're casting non-creatures using Levan's trigger to buff these things up that care about their power to get maximum value. We also have stuff that just straight up deals creatures power. We have stuff like Soulfire. Target creature deals damage equal to its power to any target. Okay. That creature will also get a +3/+0 buff from Levan because Soulfires cost 3. Super good interaction there. Spike Shot Elder might be one of the best cards in here. You can pay 1 and 2 red to have it deal damage equal to its power to target creature or player. Yeah, just a repeatable fling on this guy, essentially, in this deck, which is like incredibly strong. Then we got just like straight up fling cards. We've got Fling, Thud, where you can just sack a creature to deal its power. They're going to be really good in this deck. We've also got Chandra's Ignition, which might be the best card in this deck. 3 and 2 red, target creature does damage equal to its power to each other creature and each opponent. Wow. That's going to give it +5/+0 buff with Levan too before it does that. This could easily be a game ender. Definitely the best card in the deck. There's also a small unblockable package with stuff like Aqueous Form and Rogue's Passage just to make sure some of these big buffed creatures can get through, as well as like 3 really big goofy spells to just like try to win the game with. Spell Twine, Hit the Motherlode, Apex of Power. You can kind of throw in whatever you want. Big spells are going to buff your creatures big with Levan, so whatever you're into. I think the flinging and the direct damage and the power matters is going to be enough to bring home games, though. If you want to check out the full list, down in the description. And with that, we'll move on to the next one. Up next is Shigeki Toolbox, which is a quick one. Thank goodness, because we're running out of footage here. Shigeki's 1 and a green for a 1/3. You can pay 1 and a green to return Shigeki to your hand. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and put the rest into your graveyard. You can also channel Shigeki by paying 2x, 2 green, and discarding him. Return X target non-legendary creatures from your graveyard to your hand. So playing him and bouncing him is going to mana ramp us and fill our grave. And then channeling him, which is discarding him out of our hand, is going to allow us to return X target non-legendary things. Yeah, so this deck is just toolbox. You're pretty much just playing Shigeki, bouncing Shigeki, playing Shigeki, bouncing Shigeki, playing Shigeki, bouncing Shigeki to get mana ramp and to flood your graveyard early game. Once you've filled up the graveyard, you're going to have plenty of tool options in there. And whatever situation you're in, you find yourself in, you channel Shigeki and you pull out the tools you need from your graveyard. Now, you might ask, if you're channeling Shigeki, it's going to be stuck in your graveyard. We do run plenty of recursion, like Eternal Witness, Genesis, Road to Return, Virtue of Strength. There's going to be ways to get back Shigeki. You could probably even need a few more, honestly. Shigeki also interacts really good with Threshold, where if you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard, the card will get a bonus. So stuff like Crows and Restore and Far Wanderings are going to mana ramp us a ton because our graveyard's going to get filled very quickly. Or Crows and Beast is just a 4-drop 8/8, which I thought was awesome. I just think that's neat. There's also a small landfall package with Avengers Zendikar, Rampaging Balos, Titania, Protector of Argoth, and Titania Nature's Force, because we're going to be having a lot of lands coming to play with Shigeki's ability as well. So that also felt like a small package was needed in there. We also have a playing lands from Graveyard package with stuff like Aftermath Specialist, Blossoming Tortoise, Random Map Excavators, stuff that lets you play lands from the graveyard, again, because we're going to be filling it so hard. That then interacts with the landfall. All the while, you're toolboxing out anything to deal with problems. There's a permanent you need dealt with, Beast Within out of your graveyard. There's a flyer you need dealt with, Arashi out of your graveyard. Artifact or Enchantment, Archdruid's Charm, Grove Archer, Reclamation Sage, Kenra's Transformation. There's a lot of options that you can have sitting in your graveyard. You can Shigeki them out, channel them into your hand, deal with all the stuff you need. You're mono green, so you're going to be stomping face anyway. Yeah, I think it's really solid. I like it a lot. Up next, we've got Gyrus, Walker of Corpses, which is X, a black, a red, and a green for a 0/0. It enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter equal to the total amount of mana spent to cast it, so you can just play it for 3 as a 3/3, which we will be doing every single game. When it attacks, you can exile a creature out of your graveyard, then you create a token that's a copy of that creature that's tapped and attacking, and then you exile that token at the end of turn. So what are we trying to do? We're playing 0/0 creatures, or at least creatures with 0 power that get a huge buff when they come into play and are way overcosted, and we're going to put them into our grave, and we're going to cheat them out really early with the commander. This one out of all of them, I may or may not have a cart with half these cards in it already, because this is fun, and it playtests really, really well. What kind of 0/0s am I talking about? How about Bloatfly Swarm? How about that? 3 and a black for a 0/0, enters the battlefield with 5 1/1 counters on it, has flying. If it would be dealt damage by something and has a 1/1 counter on it, instead, you remove that many 1/1 counters, and the opponent gets rad counters. Yeah, it's a 0/0. It'll just come out turn 4 when you swing with your commander, and then you're bashing face with a 3/3, a 5/5 flying. If they block it, they get rad counters. Still not sold. That's completely fine. Coastline Marauders. 0/3, 2 and a red. When it attacks, it gets +1/+0 for each land defending player controls. That thing will get huge. It also has trample. Still not sold. That's completely fine. I totally understand. Realm Seekers. 0/0. For 6, when it enters the battlefield, it enters with X11 counters on it, equal to the total number of cards in all players' hands. 2 and a green, remove a 1/1 counter from it, search your library for a land and put it into play tapped. If you're swinging turn 4, odds are people still have 5, 6, 7 cards in hand, and then you're getting this back 12, 14, as like a 20 plus, 20 plus, bashing face, and then if you do it late game, you have mana to remove the counters to get land. Oh, and there's more of these. Drakestown Forgotten, 4 and a black, 0/0, enters with a 1/1 equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards. What about Towering Titan? Just a 0/0, enters with a 1/1 for the total amount of power on your board. Yeah, I read that right. Okay. This deck is aggressive as hell. And then guess what? We get to be really cheeky. There's 3 Feign Death cards. I bring these up every deck video because I love Feign Death cards. If you don't know what they are, how? I talk about them all the time. 1 black, target creature, when it dies, it doesn't die. It comes back. Now, how does that work with Gyrus? Because Gyrus will be a 0/0 if it comes back. Well, there's 3 of them that'll give Gyrus a +1/+1 buff when he comes back. Oh, and with all these 0 power cards in our graveyard, that's... wow, perfect. Feign Death brings it back with a 1/1 counter. Not dead at all, brings it back with a Wicked Roll token. with a Wicked Roll aura attached to it. Undying Malice, 1/1 counter. And then we can swing with him again, get back the 0 drops that are huge, continue to bash face. And there's just so many ways to fill your grave in these colors too. We've got Life from the Loam, Golgari Grave Troll, Faithless Looting, Drown in Filth, Thrill of Possibilities, Old Stick Fingers. There's like, this deck might be a problem. Look at this old ass card, Clockwork Beast. Where else would you run this card? Nowhere. You don't run this anywhere else. This deck, he's a 0/0 that comes out with 7 1/1 counters. Y'all bash you for a quick 10 ski on turn 4. Just a quick 10 ski. I know what you're saying. Hey, Nick, why don't you just sack those creatures before they have to get exiled? Ashnod's Altar of Dementia. Especially Altar of Dementia. Especially Altar of Dementia. Might be the best card in this deck. Crack a creature, mill someone equal to that creature's power. Oh, equal to that creature's power, you said? This deck has a ton of ways to win. Bash his face. It's a color combo I've wanted to make for a while. Expect a like full 4-stack tech up on this in like a month or two. But yeah, again, another one I really, really like. And I hope you guys really, really like. You seem to like my deck ideas. I hope you like my deck ideas. Hello, Future Nick. No, I'm not saying hello to Future Nick. This is Future Nick. Sorry. Commas. I put out a thing on the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, by the way, it's in the description. Where I said, hey, I'm going to be uploading this video. Here's the decks. If you guys want to reply with any upgrade ideas or anything for the decks to be in the video, go for it. That'd be cool. We had a couple people submit some suggestions, so I just kind of wanted to go over those and see what we're dealing with here. CV from the Discord recommended Bolt Bender for Saruman. 3 in a red for a 4/2 with Disguise for 1 in a red. When it's turned face up, you may choose new targets for any number of other spells and or abilities. 1, just a strong card. You can mess with the stack a lot. 2, if someone's trying to, like, deal damage to something, I guess direct damage. If someone's trying to deal direct damage to something, you can just redirect it to one of your battles, which is cool. He also recommended Starfield of Nyx for Gen. No-brainer. I'm honestly not sure why that's not in there already, to be honest. For Levan, he recommends Mind's Desire, 4 and 2 blue. Shuffle your deck, reveal the top card. You may play it for free, and then it has Storm. Possibly. I don't know how many spells I don't know if we're going for small spells or big spells in Levan. I'm definitely going to have to play test it more to figure out if this one goes in there or not. If it's the latter, then it 100% goes in there. For Shigeki, he recommended Commander Beacon. Again, don't know why that wasn't in there. That's a super good recommendation, though. And for Gyrus, he recommended Cryptic Trilobite or something like that. The 2x guy that enters with 1/1 counters. I wasn't sure about him because he won't enter with any if we're trying to hit him with Gyrus, but if we do just play him, he's a very, very good creature. So again, he's one that I think I'm going to have to play test to figure out for sure. Over on the YouTube, Grant Murdoch recommended a couple cards for us. He says, Fatal Grudge is a funny one when Gen can just bring stuff back. Fatal Grudge is a black and a red for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a non-land permanent. Each opponent chooses a permanent they control that shares a type with it and sacrifices it. Draw a card. That's pretty good just because enchantments are so specific. This is a good way just to like take out other problem enchantments and still keep yours, which I do like. Kaya's Ghost Form is another hilarious one because it's just a Death Defied card that's an enchantment. So you can throw that on Gen just to protect him. If anybody does anything, he just comes back. And then when something big and scary enough, like Starfield of Nyx is in your graveyard, you just crack the Kaya's Ghost Form with Gen, get back the Starfield of Nyx. It's really, really strong, actually. I like that a lot. He also recommends Rule of Law, which I haven't heard of. Rule of Law, 2 and a white for an enchantment. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. Yeah, that's leaning too heavy into stacks, though. I see where you're coming from, for sure. Especially because I can get around it with Gen's ability. I'll be able to play one thing and still do another thing with Gen's ability. But that still feels a little too stacksy for me. Also, Surveil lands make a strong case if budget permits. I totally agree. I think in Gen, Surveil lands definitely need to go in there. Actually, in a lot of these lists, Surveil lands would be very, very good to help fill grave. Yeah, I agree. Hell yeah, guys. Appreciate it. If you guys like this video, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. We're trying to hit 10K by the end of the year. That'd be awesome. At the rate you guys are going, that's a definite at this rate. If you want to show a little bit of additional support, there's links down in the description. Join the Discord. That's also down there. All that stuff. I think that's pretty much all I've got to say. I'm probably going to go hop immediately back onto Moxfield. Anyway, boys, hope you have a good one. Hope you go play Magic. Have a good day. See ya. Peace.